Hello everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat. I'm going to do a real speed run here, trying to knock out some of the chart requests that you guys have overnight on YouTube. This is Adobe. I got the monthly chart here pulled up, and this monthly chart really went all the way back to 1986, 720-100 here with the Gann square. You can see how beautiful this market symmetry is over the years. You can see how we finally bounced off of the arc over here in 2022. And we basically are trying to reclaim this horizontal here from back in the support here again. And you can see how it was support over here back in 2021, how it's basically serving support over here as well. And you can see how we put a very, very nice hammer candle here, right smack into the horizontal candle as well as 0.382 here. So I do think that this could be it. This could be the double bottom that we're looking for, a little bit of a Adam and Eve. We'll see. I think this is probably going to be as good a support as it's going to get. It's also nice support here at the bottom of the monthly Ichimoku cloud, right? So I am not thinking that it would just moon from here, but this is a pretty decent bottom. So if you wanted to look for bottoming behavior, I think this is probably as good as it gets based on a fib level, based on horizontal candle level, based on monthly Ichimoku cloud. You are underneath the 20-month moving average, but you are finding support here at the bottom of the monthly Bollinger Band. It touched the Bollinger Band twice here. I think this is a pretty decent bottom if you ask me. Now, does it mean that it's just going to moonshot from here? I don't know the answer to that, but it's looking pretty good as far as I can tell. ASML is another request that I have. Again, it does show a little bit of weakness, right? Because it broke down underneath the 20-month moving average. It broke down underneath the 0.786 here, and it's trying to backtest. It's failing to kind of break through here. So I'm seeing some relative weakness here, even with the pre-market being high. It's still kind of, getting underneath the 0.786 zone over here. So I don't know yet. It's okay for things to kind of break down underneath for a few months. It could still break back about like it did over here, like it did over here. So am I that concerned about it? Not really, but it does show a loss of momentum here at this spot. So I am going to be a little bit more cautious because there's still a possibility after it get rejected here 3 times at the 0.786, it could come back to the 0.618 here again, or it could even come back down here to the cloud. There's always that possibility to pay attention to. Do I think it is going to have to do that? Not necessarily. I mean, yeah, sure, it could go all the way down to the 0.382 to the bottom of the Bollinger Band here, like how it did over here in 2022. But again, does it have to? No, you just have to be open to that possibility. Sometimes it just hangs underneath the 20-month moving average here for a couple months, for a few months, and then just kind of push back up. Although down here, you did have the benefit of it being right at the below Bollinger Band. Over here, you did have the benefit of like being really close to the Bollinger Band. So we'll see. A lot of the semiconductor stock kind of look like this, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. ABSI is another chart request I have. Looks like it's holding 20-month moving average here pretty decently. If I look at the Ichimoku, you have a little bit of bullish cross a few months ago. Now you're experiencing a little bit of a bearish cross here, so it's kind of hard to look at this higher time frame and certainly be too confident that there's a trend change. It also looked like initially it was holding a 2-week Ichimoku cloud here, broke underneath of it, and right now it's trying to reclaim that. We'll see if we can reclaim the 2-week Ichimoku cloud. If we're able to do that, then I feel a lot more confident about this stock. But again, I do like the fact that it's reclaiming the 20-month moving average and sloping up. This kind of looked a little bit like SoFi before, it was able to really find support to push up higher. So I'm not that concerned about this chart. Look at the lower time frame here. It is underneath resistance here on the weekly Ichimoku cloud, right? It does have a lot more work to do. It's stuck in a range here at the Tenkan Kijun. So it's still waiting to do work. It's trying to repair. It's trying to reclaim from our support band. So it's stuck in the range, essentially. It's stuck in a range right now. We'll see how it goes, but I think this is looking more bullish than it is bearish, based on what I'm seeing. CRM is another one that people have asked me about. Looking pretty decent, actually. I actually like the whole CRM chart. Look at the Bollinger Band here. You can see how 20-month moving average is going up, and you have the Bollinger Band expansion to the upside and downside. You have a little bit more of an impulsive price action that's going to happen. Probably with CRM soon is making a higher high here after a higher low. There's really not much that I'm really get concerned about, besides the fact that it's a little bit away from the Tenkan here. Sometimes when things get a little bit far away from the blue line here on the monthly, you might end up getting punished over here. Whenever it's a little bit way too far, you might end up getting punished over here. But we might be at a stage that's kind of like this, where, yeah, you're going to be a little bit overextended at some point, but it can stay overextended for months. I can see that happening too. while it could pull the Tenkan up along with it. But that's the one thing that I'm really kind of getting a little bit more concerned about. Is just it's a little bit overextended. If you look at the FIB levels, you can also see how it's getting close to some important. It's either going to be probably getting some headwind around the 1.236 here, which is $386, or it's going to be either that or the 1.272, which is going to be close to around 400, which is a good psychological level for this run to go up, and then probably end correcting sideways up here is kind of what I'm expecting here with CRM. But it's a pretty bullish chart here, so I'm not that concerned about it. Now, a lot of people are asking about SAS as well as semiconductor. So I got the SOXX chart here pulled up here because it's also one of the requests. You can see this is still more or less like a bull flag here. Although this bull flag has really been exhausting, maybe it's just waiting to kind of backtest the 20-month moving average. I don't really necessarily like the 20-month moving average kind of losing momentum like that. It does open up for risk for potential breakdown like this over here, and it might even just take a little longer to kind of build up more momentum before slingshotting it up. Or kind of like here, you know, how you have a loss of momentum here. It might oscillate around the 20-month moving average. Or kind of like here, how you kind of lost momentum here. It might oscillate around the 20-month moving average here for a little bit. But and he might end up doing that, but I just, you know, I'm just going to give it a benefit of the doubt because it's still rising. So it could still potentially serve some pretty decent support here. It did bring it underneath the Tenkan here. So overall, the whole sector has just got like a little bit of loss of momentum, right? You can see that. The issue would be it broke down and it's trying to backtest the Tenkan, so it's not really able to push back above. Would I be surprised if it has another rug pull and come back down further to backtest some lower levels? I would not be surprised by that. Looking at a little bit of a zooming in here on the 2-week chart, I can also see potentially coming back down to the 2-week Ichimoku cloud, right? Test around like 193 or something like that. I can see that happening. Looking at the weekly, you look at the Ichimoku, it's right inside Ichimoku right now. It could come back to the bottom and you can still get some support here around 205, 206. That's plausible, right? It's also kind of oscillating around the support band up and down. It's a little bit trendless, it's lost momentum. So I really want to see what it does in terms of what the next move is. And it does open up for risk for it to kind of go down lower by maybe even $10 or $20 from where it is at right now. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I'm not going to be too like extremely bullish on something that is still needing some things to kind of prove here. Curious to see if I'm going to take a look at one chart request here. I have no idea what this is. Global X Defense ETFs, SHLD. Whether or not it's a buy here, it's a tough one for me. If you put out the 20-month moving average, yeah, it's pulling up. I think it's got a little bit of bullish trend squeeze here. It's got a little bit of bull flag here. Looks okay here based on what I'm looking at, but it's a little bit hard for me because it's a little bit of like an exhaustive kind of top here, right? And it's trying to work out its technicals because you can see how the RSI has just kind of been going down. So in order for me to feel good about this, I think I would like to see maybe at least some kind of RSI breakthrough here. I'm just simply not really necessarily seeing that until I see that this is still a little bit of exhaustive top and this is a little bit of a lower high here. So on the weekly, I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned. There's always a possibility for it to come back down and backtest the cloud here because of a little bit of this, like, you know, exhaustive RSI here. Now, can things break through an exhaustive RSI kind of like it did over here and go higher? Yes, it can, but the overall thing over here, it just looks a little bit exhausted to me. So I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. It's still about the bottom support band, so I'm not going to be like, oh, it's going to definitely plummet down to the Ichimoku cloud, right? Like, that's not necessarily going to have to happen. And it can actually end up slingshot going up, right? But I'm just a little bit concerned. Like, this is not the kind of like base behavior that I would generally like to get into. So I'm a little bit cautious here. DEVVE is another thing that was asked about. I'm guessing is this altcoin right here. So pulling up here, it doesn't have a whole lot of history, but if you're looking at the weekly chart, is it overbought? Yes. Is it a nice bull flag? Yes. It's a very, very nice bull flag. Where is it at right now in relations to the FIB level? It is basically breaking through 0.76, got rejected at 0.86, and backtested at 0.76. Looks like a very, very nice bull flag, an important FIB level where it's supposed to be finding support. It also came back down, touched the Tenkin over here. I favor further bullish continuation of this thing, and I favor it going up a lot higher over time. This just looks very beautiful. How long is it going to end up consolidating sideways over here? I don't know the answer to that. But if it's going to bounce, I think this is a pretty good area to bounce off of. If not, it could break down to 0.618. But so far, there's no evidence that that's going to happen, right? A little bit of high volume here, but again, it's holding very nice. It's got a little bit of trees at the bottom here. I'm going to give it a benefit of the doubt that it's going to hold. RGTI, somebody asked about the quantum computing stocks here. I got a GAN here on the weekly. What I'm going to say is that it got rejected here at 1.618, came back down, back to 0.618 here, holding pretty well, pushed all the way back up, and just challenging his previous all-time high here again, is challenging this arc over here again, right? So this whole thing is just a consolidation. I think it should hold here, maybe wedge here for a little bit longer, maybe even for another few weeks or another couple months, entirely possible. But overall, I think it's just basically a little bit too far, too fast. It's just finding support here, right? Bounce off the below support band. That's always a good thing. And right now, it's just holding a tank in the kitchen here. Like, this is still a pretty bullish stock. I think the Katana has been going, it's been expanding. It might end up consolidating sideways here for a little bit longer than most would like it to, but I find it okay. Back test a 2-week Ichimoku cloud, right? There's really nothing bad about this chart. The Katana here on the 2-week is still intact, right? And the Katana here on the monthly is still intact. You can see how it's kind of holding the tank in the kitchen over here. You can see how it's holding up a bullish event here. This is still a bullish chart, but it could kind of go sideways a little bit longer than we would like sometimes. WBD here, Warner Brothers Discovery. I like how it's reclaiming the 20-month moving average from resistance here to support. There's something here to be said. I think that this stock is turning bullish. It's still stuck in a range between the tank and the kitchen. I think it needs to probably maybe consolidate sideways over here for at least another couple months. Probably going to end up challenging a cloud here, though. You don't quite necessarily have like a true higher high, although this wick here is a little bit higher than that. So regardless, I think it's changing its behavior because the 20-month moving average is being reclaimed. So I think there's a chance for it to kind of hit the cloud up here, depending on where it hits. I think it's probably going to end up hitting right here, maybe around like the mid-teens or so. That's what I think about this one. UBX, looking at this here, do I see that it has enough of a changing in behavior here? The answer is yes. I think it's also just like the other stock that I was showing, it's reclaiming the 20-month moving average from resistance to support. Let's see if hopefully we're able to hold where it is right now, close above the 20-month moving average. If we're able to do that and we're able to kind of backtest here a little bit around $1, $60, $70, kind of hold around this area, then you got a good chance that it might end up being a very nice trend change, and it could end up just kind of go up from here. Very nice volume over here too for the month of January. I like this. The ONDO, I think this is a crypto. This is a market cap. So I'm going to look at this on Bybit, see what I'm seeing. Not a whole lot of price history here, right? I mean, a lot of times when you're looking at the chart like this, it's hard to chart, but if you look at the weekly here, it is holding one support band here very nicely. You look at Ichimoku, it's holding the Tenkin, holding the kitchen here very nicely. You got a very nice bull flag here. It's got some volume here. It's trying to hold this area here. Basically a breakthrough and a back test of this zone over here. Not bad. Could it break down and come back down to 87 cents, 86, 88 cents? Possible, but based on the fact that I think the whole crypto market is probably going to go higher, I find that this is probably a pretty good spot to be at. I actually feel pretty good about this stock here. Looking at Zoom, it just looks absolutely incredible with this big giant green candle over here. I think that this is Katana here really truly working out. I think that if you're looking at the 2-week Ichimoku, it's probably got some room to go around like the 90s before seeing some serious resistance here. Look at the monthly, you got a Katana that's being built up here. This is a really bullish chart. You can see how the monthly bullish band is still expanding. I think it's going to go up to the 90s here before hitting any serious resistance. But ultimately, I think it could go all the way up here to like the 140s, 150s in 2025. I think it's entirely possible because it's building up a lot of energy to really do that. I like Zoom. Where is that right now? OKTA is looking pretty decent here too. If I put the Ichimoku, you can see how it's got a little bit of a risk of developing a bearish cross here, but overall, it's still holding a 20-month moving average here just fine. I think it's going to end up going up to the cloud up here, maybe around like the 1 teens. Is probably where it's going to end up gravitating into, and so there's going to be some strong resistance zone over there whenever it gets up there. You can also see that based on the fib level, you can also see that it should challenge 0.5 up here, which is right around where the cloud is. That's where I think it's going, because it's formed a higher low here. I think it's probably going to try to form a higher high here at some point. So don't worry about all the, all the other indicators. I think it's turning more bullish. It's also trying to reclaim the around support band here. And on top of that, it's also trying to punch through the weekly Ichimoku cloud here. So we're able to close about the Ichimoku cloud this month. Some pretty decent things going to come. I think it's probably going to go back to the 1 teens here. All right, other requests, you have like some Chinese stocks. I'm going to talk about it in a separate video. Somebody requests Mara. I'm going to do it separately. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.